Welcome to the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Tirupati. In this short presentation, we will take you through the journey of the department since its inception in the year 2017. The Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Tirupati started in the year 2017. The department presently has 11 full-time faculty members and 4 visiting faculty members. We offer the academic programs in BTech, MTech, and dual degree in Computer Science and Engineering, and the research programs in MS and PhD in Computer Science and Engineering. We are ready to start a new MTech program in Data Science and Systems, where students from diverse BTech backgrounds can enroll and do a specialization in data science subjects. Presently, there are 13 research scholars, both MS and PhD. The count also includes external registrants. The research can be broadly categorized into 5 research groups: data science, computer architecture and parallel computing research group, connectivity technologies research group, software engineering and educational technologies research group, theoretical computer science research group. We have Dr. Venkatramana, myself, heading the department. I received PhD from IIT Madras and I work in the area of computer networks. Along with me, we have several young and vibrant faculty members who received their PhD degrees from different premier institutes in India and joined the institute after spending several years in the industry or in abroad. Dr. G. Ramakrishna received his PhD from IIT Madras, works in the areas of algorithms and GPU computing. Dr. Raja received his PhD from IMSC Chennai, works in the area of theoretical computer science. Dr. Jainarayan obtained his PhD from IISc Bangalore, works in the area of computer architecture. Dr. Raghavendra received his PhD from IIT Madras. He works in the area of parallel computing. Dr. Mahendran also received his PhD from IIT Madras. He works in the area of computer networks. Dr. Sridhar obtained his PhD from IIIT Hyderabad. He works in the area of software engineering and educational technologies. Dr. Kalidas received his PhD from IISc Bangalore. He works in the area of machine learning. Dr. Ajin received his PhD from IISc Bangalore. He works in the area of reinforcement learning. Dr. Kondareddy also has received his PhD from IISc and works in the area of machine learning and computer vision. We have few visiting faculty members helping us with academics and research and bring us tremendous amount of experience and professional connections. Dr. Ravi Iyer, who worked with IBM USA for 30 plus years, working in the department since 2018. He teaches a wide range of courses from image processing to systems design and optimization. Dr. Srinivas Padmanabhani, who works as AI advisor at Marax AI Inc., regularly engages in teaching courses from data science and systems stream. Professor Yajnanarayana, formerly from IIT Madras and currently a professor at IIIT Hyderabad, teaches courses like artificial neural networks and speech processing in the department. Professor C. Pandurangan, currently a professor at IIT Madras, teaches courses from the stream of theoretical computer science. Dr. Anil Nair from Ericsson Research teaches courses from the stream of data science. Curriculum focus. Our BTech curriculum focuses on imbibing strong fundamentals in core computer science topics, problem formulation, representation, and reasoning, essential knowledge on emerging areas of data sciences, hands-on experience via rigorous laboratory exercises and projects, industry exposure through a compulsory 2 months internship. Our MTech curriculum focuses on imparting depth in specialized topics in data analytics and big data systems, provisioning of long-term industry internships, learning industrial practices from the practitioners. We have about 40 courses in the department, both core and elective type courses. These courses span across the verticals, namely theory and algorithms, systems, and intelligent systems. And under these systems, we have further classified these courses into hardware systems, software systems, and connectivity systems. The courses in each area range from basic topics to the advanced topics in the respective field. Research activities. All our faculty members are young, highly energetic and enthusiastic, and are working towards establishing a strong research profile at the institute by bringing sponsored research projects, industry consultancy projects, and active collaborations. Here is the list of research areas where our faculty members are currently pursuing their research. Our faculty members have been bringing in sponsored and consultancy projects. We have 3 projects from DST on the topics of deep learning algorithms in drug discovery and power awareness and security aspects in IoT technologies. We also have 3 consultancy projects from Toshiba and Bosch on the topics of time series analysis and software code analysis. Our faculty members have also worked actively on some of the issues related to COVID-19 awareness and people mobility in red zones. The faculty members have been actively publishing in reputed avenues via journals and conference publications. The students of the department, including undergraduate students, are also actively involved in research projects yielding publications in top-tier conferences and journals. Since 2018, we have published about 16 journal publications and 40 conference publications with IIT Tirupati affiliation. Some of the works are highlighted by the respective faculty members later in this presentation. Student activities and placements. The CSE department has a vibrant and productive student community which actively contributes to technical, cultural, and sports events both at national and international level. Our students are regularly participating in events such as Smart India Hackathon and Inter IIT Tech Meet and winning prizes. We have an excellent track record of student internships and placements in good companies such as Amazon, Microsoft, Toshiba, MathWorks, TCS Research, Commvault, and many more startups. These companies are offering competitive salaries to the students. Several of our students have done research internships abroad in universities such as University of Waterloo, Canada, and EPFL Zurich. The placement statistics for the years 2019 and 20 and 2020 and 21 can be seen here. Awards and recognition. The faculty members and the students are actively engaged in enhancing their career profiles by associating with technical bodies, presenting their quality work, and participating in technical events. Some of the awards and recognition are highlighted here.
Greetings everyone, I am Sridhar Chimalkonda, faculty in computer science. I mentor an excellent set of students as part of our Risha lab. We primarily do research on understanding and improving software quality by mining large volumes of open source data. We also closely collaborate with industry and extensively apply artificial intelligence and natural language processing. In addition, we are passionate about addressing societal challenges through research in education technologies and human-computer interaction. We publish our research in top-class venues such as ICSE, FSE, CSCW, and most importantly, we make all our tools and software open source for better impact. I'll briefly highlight some of our works in the next slides. Typically, software developers often focus on programming but do not document the intent behind their solutions. However, this is extremely important for legacy projects and in software maintenance. It is here we propose the idea of using augmented reality to visualize different kinds of software documentation to help developers. Identifying the correct buggy files during testing and defect fixing is an effort-intensive activity in software development. In collaboration with Bosch, we proposed an approach called DRAST that leverages deep learning and abstract syntax trees and addresses the problem of bug localization. We demonstrate that using our approach, developers can identify the top buggy file with an accuracy of 90%, saving a lot of time and effort. In another work, we developed a game called Refactor for Green that motivates novice developers to avoid bad code practices. The game blends these concepts through the theme of sustainable and green environment, essentially promoting the idea of write good code and save the environment. We all use tutorials in one form or the other, and especially programming tutorials on YouTube are extremely popular. However, the YouTube tutorials are one way and not interactive, as the learners need to shift between the tutorial and the code. To address this problem, we developed a tool called YT Coder that extracts code in programming tutorials and allows learners to code in YouTube itself.
Hi everyone, I am Konda Reddy Mopuri, a member of computer science faculty at IIT Tirupati. In this brief presentation, I'll try to give you a broad picture of my research interests. I primarily work in deep learning and computer vision. Deep learning is a subset of machine learning tools that utilize sophisticated artificial neural networks to understand and solve various tasks. On the other hand, computer vision deals with a high-level understanding of visual world around us through digital images and videos. In other words, computer vision is about emulating the capabilities of human visual system. In the coming 2 to 3 slides, I'll try to briefly present to you some of the interesting projects we've been up to lately. Let us start with interpretable AI. Algorithmic decision making is finding more and more space in our daily lives. For example, be it simple access granting or a decision made on our loan application or a sophisticated diagnosis performed on us. AI is there everywhere. So we want those systems not only to be intelligent, but also to be interpretable. The models and their decisions need to be interpretable for both experts and the end users. right? That way they gain more reliability, and we can be more confident about their usage in all aspects of our life. Yes, the existing models are not very interpretable. As of now, they're a bit criticized for being black boxes, being end-to-end in nature. That is the space we are trying to fill in by making their inferences and the models themselves more and more interpretable in a human interpretable way. Take a simple example of CNN predicting the labels given an image. So it is trained only to take the image and spit out the labels. But instead of just that, we can develop methods and make the models more explainable, more interpretable. The decision being, visualized in this example. Um, in general, the models and the inferences need to be interpretable to the end users who are humans. So this is one aspect we've been concentrating lately to fill the gap. And another important aspect we've been working is about robustness. These AI systems, right from acquiring the data till the process it, a lot of interference can occur, both intentional and unintentional. So in some cases, the intentional noise um, that is creeping into the whole process of inference can adversely affect the decision made by the system. For example, if you see in the figure, the left image is a clean image. When presented to one of the sophisticated CNNs, it will predict the label as panda, which is right. And upon adding a very small, mild perturbation, shown in the middle, the resulting image looks like what it is there in the right. For us humans, it is still a panda. We don't have any problem recognizing. But the same model which earlier predicted panda with 57% now predicts gibbon, the label gibbon, with 99% confidence. So this is one example where um, we bring out the susceptibility of these models to structured attacks, right? So this is one active area we also working to fill the gap. We want to develop sophisticated training paradigms, um, increase the reliability, increase the stability, so that we can allow them safely to make decisions for us. And another important aspect is about adapting these sophisticated tools. As of now, these tools are very data hungry and power hungry also. These are sophisticated neural networks. A series of transformations have to be applied on the data, which require a lot of memory power. So that restricts their applicability, deployability to resource restricted scenarios like handheld devices, like mobile phones and other wearable AI devices. So we're working on making these techniques and models to be more and more uh, uh, friendly to these environments, less data-free environments, or power restricted, memory restricted areas. So this is one of the important aspects we've been working. And they're about deep learning. And coming to computer vision, as I said, it has a lot of tasks like detection, recognition, segmentation, depth estimation, optical flow, everything that a human visual system can do, we want to automate. So it has quite some challenging tasks that we are trying to give solutions to. I hope I've given you a brief understanding or brief introduction to the research we've been doing in deep learning and computer vision at IIT Tirupati. Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Achin Joe Joseph. I'm a faculty in the Department of Computer Science at IIT Tirupati. So I work in the field of reinforcement learning, stochastic approximation algorithms, model-based search methods, extreme values, theory, simulation optimization, and computational linguistics. So reinforcement learning is a learning paradigm where one tries to learn uh, through trial and error. It's a bootstrapping technique where uh, each time an agent, it has a notion of agent which tries to learn by sensing the environment and try to calibrate its internal vector to achieve some goal. So in reinforcement learning, I do work on many fields, many areas. So I specifically work in developing algorithms. So this is a few of my work where I try to develop algorithms for continuous action space. Then I try to work on algorithms to correct the stationary distribution bias when you usually see enough policy predictions. I also work on incremental feature adaptation, which is a technique to adapt the features to reduce the approximation error. So we try to come up with algorithms which are incremental in nature, so that the computational cost is very less. So I also work in nonlinear function approximation, and also some applications in medical field where I'm trying to work to develop a reinforcement learning algorithm for insulin administration. I'm trying to work in computational finance where we are trying to predict some stock market flows. And also I work in computational linguistics, um, which is actually working on origin and evolution of human language. It's a complex system. It's a complex nonlinear system, and we are trying to come up with computational models to test certain hypotheses. Um, I also work in model-based search methods, which are actually optimization algorithms, which are actually gradient free. So we don't use any first order or second order information to find the optimum of the function. Actually, these methods are quite powerful in the sense that these can indeed find the global optimum. So there are certain results which shows that can indeed find the global optimum. And I also work in extreme value theory, which are methods to find, which are actually a field of statistics which tries to find the probabilities or functions which are related to rare events. So it's very hard to compute because of the event is rare, and so the probability is very less, and which implies that the samples are hard to come by. And I also work in simulation optimization, where the objective function has a form as an expression in the form of an expectation. So the function itself is hard to compute, so the whole method becomes much more complex. And the last field is computational linguistics. Yeah, thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Dr. Kalidas, faculty in Computer Science and Engineering. I am working in the areas of machine learning algorithms and their applications. We do a lot of teaching, outreach and active collaborations, among which I will highlight some specific works. We obtained a sponsored project from DST for working on deep learning algorithms for bioinformatics, and 2 industry consultation projects from Toshiba R&D for time series analysis of data for anomaly detection. There are about 30 very bright and enthusiastic students who have worked with me in machine learning topics. I will talk about some of our efforts. When a neural network is retrained on new data, it will change weights of the network, causing it to lose its previous performance on the past data. This is called forgetfulness. We developed a method that uses a genetic algorithm to synthetically generate data to augment with this new data. When this augmented data is used, retraining a neural network is safe. That means it still works on the old data as well as the new data, retaining its performance. This work is published at ICPR 2020 and is carried out by our MS scholar Suribhaskar Sriharsha. Next piece of work that I would highlight is related to drug discovery. This is part of the project sponsored by DST. Given a set of 3-dimensional coordinates, how do we generate a vector representation for it? For example, if we rotate the structure, if we translate the structure, still that vector has to be identical. It should be reference frame agnostic. We have devised this algorithm for representation of protein ligand binding sites. It has outperformed all the existing state-of-the-art methods, and it will be immensely useful in computational drug discovery. This work is published in Machine Learning Science and Technology Journal and is carried out by our MS scholar Arnab Bhadra. Next piece of work is on multimedia content annotation and retrieval, of which video data is one of the types. The problem statement here is, given a video clip, how to identify similar videos purely based on image content and frame sequence. We have devised an algorithm that makes use of object recognition in images and performs smart tracking across frames to generate metadata, such as whether an object is static or moving, and for different types of objects, person, bicycle, and so on. This scene vectorization algorithm has been evaluated successfully to retrieve semantically matching video scenes and also in anomaly detection. The work is published in CVIP 2020 and is carried out by our MS scholar Prashant. Next piece of our work is research during COVID-19 outbreak and development of an algorithm called GeoCoV-19 and a web portal. We collaborated with Facebook for obtaining aggregated and anonymized data on population mobility patterns in different regions. We have then generated statistics on mobility in various regions and related it to the surge in COVID infections. This work was useful to the administrators and we received appreciation from Andhra Pradesh and Orissa state governments. Thank you very much, everyone.
I'm Dr. Raja. I'm a faculty member in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering. I work in the area of arithmetic circuit complexity and algorithms. I've taught a number of undergraduate and postgraduate courses. I've listed some of them here. Arithmetic circuit complexity studies about arithmetic circuits and related models of computations. Arithmetic circuits are natural model for computing polynomials using basic operations like addition and multiplication. So here is an example of an arithmetic circuit computing the polynomial 2x square y. We can think of x and y are standing for numbers. Some of the well-known polynomials are the determinant polynomial, which appears in linear algebra, and it has many applications in mathematics as well as computer science. So computing them in a faster way is of interest. A similar looking polynomial is the permanent polynomial. This polynomial has much more application in computer science. Even though they look similar, it seems that the minimum number of operations you need to computing them differs a lot. So one of the basic goal is to show that some of the directions of studies or the polynomial identity testing problem, where we are given an arithmetic circuit as an input, we need to check if the polynomial computed is analytic or not, whether it computes a zero polynomial or not. So the general problem, we don't know how to solve it in a quicker way. So people have studied restricted models of computations like non-commutative arithmetic circuits, where the multiplication gates do not commute. xy is not equal to yx. So natural examples are where x and y are standing for matrices. In one of our work, we have given a randomized polynomial identity testing algorithm for a class of non-commutative circuits. Another question is devising a deterministic PAT algorithms for various models of arithmetic computations. Currently, one MS student is exploring these questions with me. So another direction is proving lower bounds. So here we need to establish minimum number of basic operations we need to compute a polynomial. So another questions is we are pursuing is that proving separation results between different models of arithmetic computations. We have several models of computations. What are the relationship between them? How powerful they are? So these are some of the research directions we are looking into, among others. Thank you.
Hi, this is Dr. G. Ramakrishna working on the areas of algorithms, data structures, and parallel computing. Coming to the domain areas, I choose problems from route planning algorithms and as well as public transportation. Now I'm going to describe an interesting problem in a public transportation network. Let us consider a scenario where we would like to start our journey from a source vertex at say 2 p.m. and would like to reach our target as early as possible. Of course, there are a lot of paths that are reachable from source to destination. Among all these paths, the one that takes to the destination as early as possible is called as earliest arrival path, and the associated time is called earliest arrival time. In this work, we have designed a parallel algorithm and implemented using GPU computing. The average speed up of our approach is at most 61 times with respect to the state of the art algorithm, and this result is accepted in HAPC 2020. Here is another interesting variant of a public transportation problem. Consider this scenario of when we are traveling from a source to a destination using public transportation, the amount of time that we spend at the amount of time that we spend in vehicles is called travel time. The amount of time that we spend at intermediate stations is called waiting time, and the summation of travel time and waiting time is referred to as journey time. Here also, of course, we have several paths from source to destination. Among all such paths, the one which takes minimum journey time is called fastest path. Among all fastest paths, the one whose travel time is also minimum is referred to as short fastest path. In this work, we have designed a near linear time algorithm to obtain short fastest path by defining new dominance relation and an efficient data structure. And this result is accepted in Volcom 2021.
Hi, this is Dr. Venkatramana, working as an associate professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Tirupati. I joined the department in August 2017. Prior to that, I completed my PhD from IIT Madras in 2007. From 2007 to 2010, I worked as a postdoctoral researcher at Hamilton Institute, which is a multidisciplinary research institute in Republic of Ireland. Then I worked as an assistant professor in the Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Jodhpur from 2011 to 2017. My areas of research includes resource optimization in wireless networks, IoT solutions for precision agriculture and smart indoor environments, information-centric networks for IoT, development of device agnostic workflow builder for IoT. I have guided 4 PhD scholars and 14 master students. One more PhD scholar is about to submit the thesis, and 3 are at various stages of their PhD thesis work. Here are some of my recent publications, which are jointly written with my PhD students and collaborators. Smart indoor environments is one of the research areas that we are working on. The research issues that we are working with collaborators from IIT Tirupati and IIT Jodhpur in this domain are beacon placement approaches in 2D and 3D indoor spaces, occupancy detection and estimation through multi-sensor and data fusion approaches, development of cost-effective indoor positioning system, fingerprinting techniques through crowd sensing approaches. Another area that we are working on is information-centric networks, that is ICN, for IoT. ICN basically decouples the information from the sources and make the information independent of its location. Further, in ICN, the information is maintained in the network as well as the end host. With these features in place, ICN becomes a potential candidate for networking IoT systems. Currently, the IoT systems are mostly based on the TCP/IP protocols, which are proven to be a bit heavy and inefficient for connecting the resource-constrained IoT systems. There are several research challenges spanning across the protocol layers. Currently, our team is working on the aspects of caching schemes, reliable data transport services, real-time data transport services in IoT networks. Another research area that we are working on is precision agriculture. Although precision agriculture is a widely used approach in Western world, it is still at its nascent stages in India. This is mainly due to the cost and availability of the solutions, small-scale farm holdings, and lack of awareness in using the technology by the farmers. Previously, our group had worked on developing low-cost solutions for efficient irrigation. This includes development of an indigenous sensor node, which has been evaluated in the field for a period of 1 year. The solution has proven to be efficient in terms of cost, battery life, and sensing accuracy. Currently, our group is working in collaboration with Edge Hill University, UK, and Juari Agrochemicals, India, to extend the solutions for other aspects such as efficient application of crop inputs, crop growth monitoring, soil monitoring, and other related issues. Thank you. Thank you very much for your attention.
Hello everyone, this is Mahendran, faculty from Computer Science and Engineering, IIT Tirupati. My research interests lie in analyzing the performance of computer networks using stochastic models. Few of my research topics include delay tolerant networks, Internet of Things, fog computing, FANETs, 5G networks, application of optimization models into the domain of computer networks. I have taught core courses such as computer networks, operating systems, and object-oriented programming. In addition to that, few of my specialized electives include advanced computer networks, stochastic decision processes, and mathematical modeling. RFID tags are predominantly used in logistics and supply chain industries. In one of our current research, we plan to apply reinforcement learning techniques to improve the performance of reading RFID tags. Our plan is aimed at introducing minimal changes to the network protocol layers. In this manner, we believe our solution can be adapted to the wide range of existing industry standard devices without any hardware modifications. In this situation, we are seeing online streaming services being used by education, IT, and other administrative sectors. In our effort to improve the performance of online streaming service, we introduce fog nodes into the traditional online streaming technology. Fog nodes have three benefits. Number one, it reduces the end-to-end delay. It gives an ability for the service provider to study the last mile network conditions of the user. 3. It gives a storage point to cache the appropriate quality video segments. In this framework, we plan to apply reinforcement learning technique to place appropriate quality of video segments suitable for the current network conditions. In this way, the network performance of streaming is significantly improved. This is a joint work with our colleague Dr. Venkatramana Badarla and our research scholar Mr. Rohit.
Namaskar, this is Jayanand Titudu from Department of Computer Science and Engineering at IIT Tirupati. So I'll be telling you about the kind of problem that is solved in the hardware design. So our main interest, our main focus is on two problems. One is dependable hardware design and another is energy-aware computing. So with respect to these two problems, we have several projects currently ongoing in our lab, and some of the projects are listed here. we wanted to come up with a test methodology to solve the problem of testing and system on chip. And the second problem that we are also interested in is we wanted to investigate the kind of test mechanism that we need to test the edge nodes, which we call it as IoT node as well. Plus, we also wanted to come up with a test methodology which includes the DFT, or the design for test architecture, the ATPG methodology with respect to the AI accelerator. So these are with respect to the testing. So similarly, we also wanted to come up with a mechanism, what is reliability and the dependability in the reconfigurable computing area. Similarly, the energy efficient architecture is very much needed, and that is what we wanted to solve. And to support our research work, we also offer a training program in the form of course. So digital system design, which is a very basic and the fundamental course. Computer system design, which is based upon this digital system design, computer system architecture, and computer organization, test and verification of VLSI processor design, and few more courses which are planning to launch in order to support and explore the newer domain of hardware design, particularly the dependable and energy hardware design. To give you an example, recently we have published one of the work in the area of approximate computing, which is one of the most prominent, or let's say, which is one of the most appealing area in order to solve, in order to apply in the domain of image and the video processing, and particularly with respect to the machine learning. And this work has been published in one of the leading forum, Asian Test Symposium, very recently. And the main contribution in this work is to provide a framework or the methodology to appropriately fix the trade-off between accuracy and the area over it, right? And we can see our main approach is to use an LUT-based circuit approximation with targeted error guarantee. In the right hand side, we can see the result at around 96 to 98%. We could able to save the area of around 30 to 40% area saving, which is one of the good results, right? So the similar kind of work we continue to do here. And in the near future, we expect to get very interesting result. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, my name is Raghavendra Kanakagiri. So I work in the area of parallel computing with a special focus on high performance computing. Some of the projects that we are working on are tensor decomposition algorithms, scalable implementation of these algorithms on multi-node GPUs. As part of HPC, of course, the tensor decomposition is part of HPC. As part of HPC, we also explore working with other developing packages of softwares for basic science research, which is some of the examples are whole cell simulation, OpenAtom, communication efficient Jaccard similarity for genome comparisons. We also work on graph algorithms, scalable implementation of these graph algorithms, be it subgraph isomorphism, connectivity, or minimum spanning tree. Now, one of the projects that we recently published was communication efficient Jaccard similarity for distributed genome comparisons. The Jaccard similarity index is an important measure of the overlap of two sets, widely used in machine learning, computational genomics, information retrieval, and many other areas. We designed and implemented similarity at scale, the first communication efficient distributed algorithm for computing Jaccard similarity among a pair of large data sets. Our re-evaluation on real data illustrates that one can use genome at scale to effectively employ tens of thousands of processors to reach new frontiers in large-scale genomic and metagenomic analysis. For one of our test runs, we use all bacterial and viral whole genome sequencing data used in the Big C data set, and we were able to compute the Jaccard similarity index within less than a day. We're using 1024 processors, 1024 nodes, and each node having around 64 cores. The table also depicts how we compare with the state of the art. As you can see, the amount of data or the amount of samples that we can handle is pretty humongous. We also have developed a library called Cartesian Communicator library, It's a library to efficiently permute data distribution across multiple processors. And what do I mean by that? Let's say the data is distributed in a 3D fashion, then the data can be permuted to 2D fashion or vice versa. And it can also do end partition and in consolidation. For example, let's take this huge cube of data that is over there. Distributed across A, B, C, D, and the user wants to compute something on 1, 2, 3, 4, the small cubes of data. He can just pull the data, he or she can just pull the data, act upon it, and write it back. And the pull and push of the data is completely transparent to the user. So this is released as an open source library. Feel free to check it out and let us know your comments on it. So we also were interested in some kind of computer architecture. So one of the projects that came out of it is router buffer caching. Now the idea is pretty simple. It's for an NOC based tile multi-core processors. You can see the heat map here. The second row, the first column, it's red, which means that there is lot more accesses to that particular node when compared to the other nodes. And why is that? Because a highly shared cache block at the last level cache may be accessed by several cores simultaneously. So how do I mitigate this? Because having such hotspots can increase the overall access latency and decrease the performance. So these are some of the projects that I was able to talk about. There are other interesting things that we are working on, as I said, like graph algorithms, connectivity, minimum spanning tree, subgraph isomorphism. Yeah, thanks for your time.